And we are live. Okay, sorry guys, I was struggling to come on. Don't know why, what was happening there. It's good to see you guys. How are you guys all doing?
Good. We just had to go through the intro twice. Not
Yeah.
that bad because we love the intro music. You know what I mean? Yeah, all good.
Still great on my YouTube.
Yeah, the first one.
But it's good to see you guys. I'm glad you could make it. Tonight's going to be about Werner von Braun. So I think it'll be interesting. I haven't watched it yet, but it's about an interview we had and stuff, so I think it'll be quite interesting. Anyway, everybody, hello, good to see you all. Thank you for coming. Space is a show. We've already got 28 votes. Yes, 100%, 43% say yes. No, it doesn't exist as we are told, 10%, and my fate is real in space, 48%. So who we got in? We got Moxie. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, Moxie was like literally there as I put a stream up and I just made the poll. He was already like in the first 2 seconds. So he was like literally waiting. He was the first. Better Than Gold, it's good to see you, mate. Nick Volt, hello, good to see you. Iron FE, always glad to see you, mate. Flat Earth Canada, thank you for coming. Dr. Bass Atwood, always good to see you too. And then Peaceful Warrior already coming in with a £2 super chat. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Didn't he hang the 3 slowest every night? Sorry, I don't understand it. Didn't he hang the 3 slowest every night?
Didn't he hang the 3 slowest every night? I don't know.
So,
You'll have to elaborate on that, Peaceful.
yeah, but thank you for coming, Peaceful Warrior. Thank you very much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Yeah, if you can maybe elaborate on that, we would like to know. And then who else do we got in? Richard G, good to see you, mate. Identity verification. Original D Rose, good to see you. Oh yeah, obviously Michael and PJ. So yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on Von Braun? Oh, and Titan Long's also in. Good to see you. Who was
I
Von
just
Braun?
remember sharing these there. I just wonder if that's where Doc Brown got his nickname. He got his name from on Back to the Future because he was a Von Braun, allegedly the character anyway. So I was just wondering if they got the idea for Doc Brown from his name. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Captain Caveman. Digital D says poll question is a trick question. It is actually because everybody that says my faith is real in space is conceding it's just a belief. And then the other two is just actually saying space is, as we know it, is fake. So, yeah. Hey, Brian Stavely, good to see you. Thank you for coming. He says, I'll wait till the room falls to leave my comment. Okay, but it's good to see you. And Jeff Gass said, thank you for coming. Okay, so who's Werner von Braun, guys?
Father of rocket science.
Well, I have him on screen, yeah. As far as I know, he was a Nazi.
That's basically all I know.
Yeah, I mean,
with a smug grin.
I mean, don't you guys find it odd that many of the founders of NASA and stuff were Nazis and stuff, and Disney
Absolutely.
and Disney were Nazis? You know what I mean? It's like the actual propagandists to control people started the space race and entertainment for kids and stuff. You understand? It's actually weird. Hey Oz, good to see you, mate. So yeah, who is he? Let's go in and see who he really is. Okay, Werner von Braun. Okay, so Werner Magnus Maximilian Vierger von Braun. What Freiherr? 23rd March 1912 to June 16, 1977. So he at least lived a good life. As a young man, von Braun worked in Nazi Germany's rocket development program. He helped design and co-develop the V2 rocket and a P-Mundier during World War II. The V2 became the first artificial object to travel into space on 20th June 1944. Following the war, he was secretly moved to the United States along with about 1,600 other German scientists, engineers, and technicians as part of Operation Paperclip. There's a lot of operations that people do actually just ignore and whatever. Then he says he worked with the United States Army. Don't you find that odd? If you're a Nazi, how do you go and work with the United States Army?
Yeah, it just seems it's all convoluted and done backhandedly, underhandedly. Do you know what I mean? It's definitely something wrong there.
I mean, that's really weird. I mean, if you're going to go, and I mean, he was a rocket scientist, and what did he do with working with the USA? Immediate range ballistic missiles programs. So you're going to take a war criminal and bring him to your government to make weapons for you. that sounds very legit.
For a nefarious agenda. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's really weird.
I feel like he was telling the U.S. government who to go and pick up to furthermore their research into control.
Yeah. Hey, Moomin
They
Rider.
got him, and then he's like, "You should get these people too."
That's what he says. It's all just a show, guys. I mean, even that's why when they come to us, say, "But why are the Russians working with America?" It's because it's always just been a show. It's never really been. They've never really been enemies, as they put it. I mean, even today, there's war between, but they still together in the ISS, for Pete's sake. Come on.
Exactly.
Hi, Ellen Norshan, good to see you too. And Bako Makaiva, thank you for coming. Okay, Brian Estevi says, look at your title and look at his name. He was Werner von Braun, as you have titled. He has now always been Wernher von Braun, as you see on Wikipedia. Yeah, that's true. I want to say it looks different here. Werner von Braun.
Is that the Mandela effect as well, then, isn't it?
Let's look quickly. Where's my... Hey, show my live. What's going on? Okay, I'll just go to my channel then. How's that? Yeah, Wernher von Braun. And this is how it's spelled. Wernher. No, but that's how I spelled it though. Oh, but there's Werner Braun. Huh? Is it the H not there?
It's on your video.
Yeah, in the video, but I mean in the video it's going to show now what he's going to be saying, so it should show there as well. But yeah, in my description, sorry, oh come on, my description, there we go, it shows Wernher von Braun lecture film. That's what we're going to be checking out tonight. But that's weird. Yeah, I have the H, yeah. H in the title. And that's how I remember without the H. That's really weird.
It is. Peaceful Warrior just elaborated, but I'm still not sure.
Oh yeah.
So they're pretty sure he hanged 3 slowest workers every night for the workers to see in the morning. I say workers, think you'll know who I mean.
I think it was him. But then again, a lot of the Nazi
okay, I get right. Okay,
they did some very crazy sick stuff. It was sad.
They kicked babies' heads off. They buried them up to the shoulders and kicked babies' heads off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or how about, I can't remember the one guy, but he was fascinated about twins, and every time they found twins, he would experiment on them. He would be the night before, he would like gouge their eyes out or something without giving them anesthesia or something. He would feed them lollipops and stuff. You know that, it lets them call him uncle. You know, that's how sick these people were.
Sick.
Yeah.
Werner means like something like army defender.
Oh.
And Wernher means army guard.
Okay.
Hey Mojo Shop, good to see you. And Debatable D. Yeah, but but like I said, there's a lot of stuff just even based on Werner or whatever you want to call him. We'll just call him von Braun. That it just doesn't gel. Everything is just kind of falls into place. All of these Nazi scientists all of a sudden working for the same people that were against them. It just doesn't gel. Okay, so that's practically who he is. So I've got a video about an interview that he did. I don't know if you guys think we should start that and see how it's going to go, because I haven't watched it yet, but Michael said it should be interesting to go check up something like this. So
Cool, man.
I think it'll be cool. The topics include, these guys have topics including World War One, Two, Korea, Vietnam, Cold War, Periscope films. This is the source, guys. It's good to see you, Alan. I always love these old films.
Yeah, you can always tell an old film intro.
Sounds like the beginning of old cartoons as well.
Yeah, it's always a trumpet or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, that says, if the progress of man is to be judged in terms of the degree of his challenge, certainly today the challenge of our outer space is perhaps the greatest that the man has ever faced in civilized history.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. That's if you really want space to exist, then obviously you're going to say it's a challenge of outer space. I think it would be more a challenge for them to provide evidence for their space vacuum, because they can't demonstrate it on Earth. Hence why they keep obfuscating from asking for demonstrations and pointing to a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of Star Wars kind of idea, this. The Office of Armed Forces Information and Education, Department of Defense, is privileged to present Dr. Werner von Braun, distinguished authority in rockets and space, who will explain the challenge to us. During World War II, he played a principal role in the development of the V2 rocket in Germany. He is now the Army's leading rocket and guided missile scientist and director of the Guided Missiles Division at the Redstone Arsenal. That's what it just doesn't make sense. You take someone that was a so-called war crimes criminal, working on rockets, and you take him and you employ him to come and create rockets for you. And guided missiles. Yeah. I would also want to say, they said the V2 rocket went to space. I want to see what the altitude, because as far as I know, they struggled with the V2 rocket, and I think it only went like 50 miles or something.
Moving right, listen to the Sharkinator right now. Don't listen to me, I ain't got nothing good to say. Nothing that'll teach you anyway. I'm only joking. I know a few little things.
I want to see if they can say where. What was it? Oh, that's just something interesting I want to bring up. Its maximum speed is 5,760 kilometers an hour, okay? And they say it went to space, correct? So that means it would have to get out of Earth's...
Yeah.
What's it? How much kilometers do rockets and stuff and things to have?
Yeah, I thought it needed to be 25 miles an hour to get out of Earth's atmosphere.
Isn't that a bit slow? Okay, what's its mass though? 12,500 kilograms. I mean, okay, it hasn't got that much mass really, but still, that's a bit slow if you're looking at how they're saying everything has. I mean, even a gas particle has to. They claim to have how much, velocity to get out of Earth's gravity. That's not actually a force. I found that really odd. V2 rocket, highest altitude. 244 miles of speed per hour. So that's quite high. The test missile attained the altitude of 680 miles. So way higher than the so-called ISS, correct?
Yeah.
But what they're saying there, could the V2 reach orbit? While the V2 rocket could not achieve orbit, but the Smithsonian says attained an altitude of 680 miles. How do you not get orbit if it's going 680 miles? That sounds a bit fishy to me. I don't think that people actually look through all the information, correct? Because, I mean, you can't claim, I mean, to go into space is what they claim the carbon line 100 kilometers is 60 miles or something.
Yeah, like 60 miles or something, yeah.
And this is claimed to go 680 miles or 244 miles even. And now they're saying they couldn't even reach orbit.
Wow.
Yeah, makes so much sense.
Orbit determined on size and speed.
Let's see, where would orbit...
It just went high, it didn't go into orbit, I think.
Let's see, where would orbit be considered for Earth? Okay, that's the sun. We want the orbit of Earth.
It depends though, doesn't it? Like ISS is going to have a different orbit to a small satellite.
Yeah, I mean, everything has its own orbit. That's like the ISS is supposed to be 405 kilometers up, which would be the orbit. So, I mean, that's much higher than the ISS, apparently. So why are they claiming it couldn't reach Earth's orbit? Weird stuff. Okay.
So it should, if it goes that high, then obviously it can, in their model, it could reach Earth orbit.
Exactly. Hey D-Rose, good to see you. Thank you for coming. The audience for the officers' conference, as well as the moderator, Rear Admiral Harold M. Briggs, are from the Armed Forces Staff College at Norfolk, Virginia. Okay. Hey Sasquatch.
Rear Admiral.
Also weird. I mean, don't you guys find it odd that they had quite a brilliant depiction of how the globe would look before they even went to space?
Of course.
Really weird stuff. Hey Ryan S, good to see you. It just doesn't make sense. There's just too much coincidences surrounding everything.
Yeah.
Challenge of outer space.
Keep expecting to see King Kong, Black Mike King Kong.
Gentlemen, will you please take your seats so we can begin today's conference?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of civilians there, right?
I take a great deal of pleasure in presenting to you today as our guest speaker.
Is it loud enough for you
Werner
guys?
von Braun.
It's quite low, but I can hear it.
Yeah, and I'm scared if I put it, I've got that on like full blast. You know what? I'm gonna open up in another program and just change the volume, because this is it's gonna be too soft, I think, and I'm gonna get a lot of people. You can't have your sound right. So yeah, sorry guys, I am very unprofessional.
You're not a sound techie, so you know what I mean. Surely you can be excused.
I'll still get all that stuff set up right when I do eventually have my studio kind of thing. But I mean, for now, I'm literally just in the lounge in my lounge by the TV. So Von Braun. Okay, let's put Von Braun in. We had it 1 minute 50 seconds. We have the downloads. Von Braun. Now I can change the sound. Where's the sound now? Loop, speed, audio. There we go.
Sergio says he knows your pain.
Yeah, you want to watch me in action with technology?
I want to get them binoculars that
I downloaded that editing program. I can't even use it.
Why is it not playing any sound? Not playing any sound. Set it up. Audio volume. It's freezing on me. Okay.
silent movie, silent in space, isn't it? There's no sound waves don't carry.
Okay, I started working through this program. And I know if I put it to Da Vinci, then
Is it downloaded?
yeah, I've got it downloaded.
Can't you just play it through your photos?
What do you mean?
Look, you know, you click on file, it just says photos. Open with photos, you can usually play them in them.
No, I've got it full blast. That's the thing. Remember, it's old footage, so it's very soft. So I've got to put it in a program to make it louder.
Can you see Sergio's little kitten in the background there?
Yeah,
It's cute, isn't it?
cute little
Really
kitty.
cute, man. Yeah. I'm not even a cat person, but that cat's really cute.
You know what? I'll quickly do it in Da Vinci. Then we'll just quickly render it. Hopefully, it goes quickly. Because, but we don't really need to see that much on them, though. So Da Vinci should be fine. Because I mean, there's not much to see from the guys. Da Vinci, why you're not opening? There we go. Get VLC. That was VLC, mate. What I had opened available, there was VLC. Okay. Oh yeah, Christopher Enoch's come up with some more videos about flat Earth. Oh, you don't want to. You don't want to know.
Spock eyebrows.
Yeah, Spock. Spock eyebrows.
Christopher Enoch, the Spock.
Still going on that the Bible doesn't talk about literal days when it says evening and morning.
Well, what else is it? I'm sure it would have said if it was longer. Just because it says in the Bible like a day is like 1,000 years and 1,000
No,
years is like a day.
he believes we're still on the first day. He says it's an eternity.
Exactly.
So when they created sun on fourth day, then we haven't got to the sun being created.
Yeah.
So for 4,000 years there was no sun, so nothing was growing.
And stupid arguments like he says, maybe you guys should think, how did the plants and stuff grow on the third day if the sun came the fourth day? Simple, because there's a difference between daylight and sunlight.
Yeah.
The sun's just there to rule the day, as the Bible says. Okay,
Dr. Bass Aquas says he wants to debate someday. I'm sure you can set it up.
oh yeah, Bass Ackwards,
Cool.
I'm more than happy to set up if you want to debate.
Yeah.
Let me know and we can set it up. More than happy. If you want to have another moderator on here as well, of course it doesn't matter. Okay.
Gentlemen, will you please take your seats so we can begin today's conference? I take a great deal of pleasure in presenting to you today as our guest speaker, Dr. Werner von Braun. Dr. Braun.
Gentlemen, the conquest of outer space is the greatest technological challenge of the age in which we live. The first decisive step in the conquest of space will be the placing of an object into an orbit wherein it will indefinitely circle the Earth. It takes a speed of approximately 18,000 miles per hour to accomplish this. And this is approximately 3 times...
You see what it just said? It takes us approximately 18,000 miles to accomplish this. And they said the max speed was 5,800 kilometers or something? So what am I missing? Did we read the information wrong, or are we just not understanding what it means?
The stats must have been different back in them days. God knows.
Hey, Ryan, Jonah Edwards, good to see you, mate. Thank you for coming. And also, Mikey Smith, hello, and also Jolly Man. Good to see you guys.
The greatest speed ever attained by rockets today. How can we reach such a speed? First of all, of course, one could think of improving propellants used in present-day rockets. Secondly, we could shave some weights of our designs.
Yeah.
But with both these methods, it does not appear possible to gain more than approximately 40 or 50% of the speeds that rockets reach today. A fundamental step ahead in increasing the speed.
Debatable D says it didn't go to orbit though, so what's the issue? The issue is the information is contradicting each other.
It says it wouldn't be able to get to orbit, but yet gives you a height of 600 odd mile, and orbit is less than that. So
yeah, and giving a max speed and a max speed of 5,840 kilometers or something, and yet he just said you require 17,000 miles an hour to get out, to get up. That's why we're saying it just doesn't add up. And the fact they have him, the same guy they've been trying to kill through World War II, to come and work for them with deadly rockets, really makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Right.
Hey, Undoctorinated, good to see you, mate. Thank you for coming. It's just too much of these kind of things that just doesn't make sense.
It wasn't about whether it went into orbit or not debatable, it's whether it could. We know height doesn't equal orbit, but there's a certain height that you can go into orbit. There's obviously a minimum height to be able to go into orbit, isn't there?
Yeah, but we just have to give some guys say a disclaimer. There's no such thing as orbit. Okay?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
This is based on the heliocentric bullshit religion that we talk about orbits. There's no such thing as orbit. The ISS is not orbiting. It's something up there, but it's definitely not the flying tin can that they're saying, okay?
See how they get you sometimes arguing their own model sometimes.
Exactly.
Let us take a look at our first slide.
Hi XB, thank you for coming,
a
mate.
model of the three-stage rocket in this picture. Up to this lower white line here is the first stage. It is powered by a number of rocket engines which will lift the missile off the ground until it has reached, after approximately 1 minute operating time, a maximum speed in the order of 3,600 to 4,000 miles per hour. At this point, the first stage is jettisoned, its tanks are now burnt out, and the rocket motors of the second stage take over.
I wonder if that's made of tinfoil.
Yeah, I wonder how thick that is. Is that also made of very thin aluminium like the LM and everything? That's crazy. It's a flying tin can, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Jolly Man. V2 rockets cruise. They don't fall back to Earth. Also, 80,000 feet isn't 80 miles, is it? Nope. Definitely not. I'd start with asking if I owned the entire northern hemisphere. Would the equator be property line? Yes, it would. Okay, so if you added more property, would that give me a larger property line measurement? Hi, Owen. Thank you for coming. Good to see you, mate.
Over. The second stage adds a velocity increment of approximately 6,000 to 8,000 feet per second to that of the first stage. And after this speed of approximately 12,000 feet per second has been reached, the second stage, likewise exhausted, would be dropped. Now the rocket motor in the last or top stage will take over. This top stage will now forge ahead at an initial speed of approximately 12,000 miles per hour until the final orbital speed of 18,000 miles has been reached.
That's insane. So only the third stage hits that 18,000 miles per hour, as they say. Okay. Hey Rachie, yeah, orbit supposedly faster, lower, slower, higher. So yeah, they're saying the third the first stage and the second stage don't make it. The third stage is what makes it to so-called the velocity they need. So
Darwin says at least it doesn't straight out look like a penis. Well, that's a good thing. It's more like a dart in this one than a penis. So yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Star Energy, good to see you. So yeah, and Charlie Welch, hello. But I mean, it still doesn't make sense. They have a guy showing a V2 rocket, which he produced actually. I mean, the Nazi scientists, war criminals that they were fighting to try kill. After the war, they go and they employ them to come work for them and do rocketry with them.
Yeah.
And the guy says, how do we get it to go that fast? Well, they just have the third stage, which will reach that. Now, how would you just take that little third stage and implement that to get people to go to the space? Hey, YouTube, good to see you. Space is empty-headed, non-questioning people. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, where is the fuel in the third stage? Probably just in the bottom there. I don't know. Because it's already got velocity to it, and then they're just adding again and again and thinking, oh, it's going to keep pushing off of it.
Sprinkle unicorn farts and it's all away.
Yeah, it looks like a bullet. Exactly better than gold.
Yes.
It's like you go and hire a criminal to be a clown at your child's birthday party, and ask him, okay, he's worked with explosives before, so he takes it and does explosive balloons. No, that's fine, it will work. Not dangerous at all. Okay, let's play again.
This speed is sufficient to keep the top stage in the orbit. Now, what exactly makes an orbit tick? Imagine you put a gun on top of a mountain and fire it in horizontal direction. The gravitational pull of the Earth will pull the bullet down towards the ground, and after having traveled a certain distance, the bullet will finally strike the ground.
Yeah, it's not actually gravity, though they call it gravity. I mean, we can all agree things go down because it's denser, it loses energy.
Yeah.
Gravity doesn't pull, guys. Sorry to tell you that. Even though they try and say, oh, it's pulling it down, there's a gravitational acceleration pull. No, there isn't. It's the acceleration that they call gravity. That's all. It's just the gravity. They call the acceleration gravity, but it's not. Gravity is the bending and warping of space and time. Space which doesn't have any actual nothing. There's nothing there, no matter substance. And time, which is just a concept. So how can a time bend nothing?
Yeah,
how can a concept bend nothing? It doesn't make sense.
Make us something. That's the logic anyway. Two nothings make us something.
Yeah.
Like nothing exploded.
Now, as we increase the model velocity...
Sorry, Michael?
I just say it's all just thought experiment, this, because you need, in order to have an orbit, you need a ball, and we don't live on a ball, so...
Exactly.
Yeah. The bullet will travel farther. And at a certain speed, the curvature caused by the gravitational pull of the Earth, which pulls the bullet down, will exactly match the curvature of the Earth. The bullet will then keep on flying around the Earth and will fall and fall, never being able to reach the surface of the Earth until it finally hits the breech of the gun from the rear. This is an orbit. You can establish such orbits at various altitudes. Theoretically, you could establish one immediately above the ground, but of course interference with the atmosphere would slow the bullet down and the orbit wouldn't be stable. So we have to go outside of the atmosphere. But once we are outside of the atmosphere, we have a free choice of any altitude we want. And the higher we go, the slower will be the velocity required to balance the gravitational pull of the Earth. For it is the centrifugal force in the curved orbit that cancels the gravitational pull of the Earth and keeps the object...
It cancels the gravitational... Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point, Ryan S. And then, yeah, who was it? Richard G. This guy would make a good villain. He would actually. Well, he was actually a villain in real life.
Yuke's comments best, more like Werner brothers.
And von Braun sandwich. YouTube. Wow.
Yeah, Dr. Basak would say about gravity, it's just a word that people use to patch holes in retarded theories, which is true. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Proof for bullshit.
Yep.
Innit?
Hey, Kim Hopkins, thank you for coming. Faciality, good to see you too. Kim Hopkins, the cause is the effect. Yeah. How can you have the cause that is the effect? It can't be the same thing. Carl Oppo, good to see you. Thank you for coming. But then again, they don't know what science is, even if it would hit them in the face. That's why they work with pseudoscience, and then when someone tells them, listen, yeah, give me your hypothesis and experiment, they can't. Because they don't have science.
In its stable orbit. The moon has been doing this for a number of million years, and the Earth is orbiting around the sun, so the principle is well known and proven in Mother Nature's pattern of things. With such a rocket, of course, we couldn't return back from the orbit, and we are thinking of shooting people into an orbit. We have to provide with...
I love how he says that. We are thinking of shooting people into an orbit. Just shoot them into an orbit. Hey, God, that's too good to see you. Thank you for coming. Oh man, just shoot the people into orbit. We are thinking of that. Yeah. I mean, when was this interview done? I'm sure that the Russians were already trying to do that, correct? I mean, they were the first people to put someone into orbit and into space. We look at Sputnik.
Fifth days.
Yeah. And this interview was 1955?
55.
1955, yeah. When did the Russians first go?
Was it about 58?
That Yuri guy went.
Yuri Gagarin or whatever. Sputnik 1 launched 1957, so two years. Only 2 years after his interview. Well, his whatever this was. 2 years. I mean, so they went and they did something and developed it in 2 years. Well, when did they start doing the Sputnik? Developed. October 1957, the Soviet Union launched the Earth's first artificial satellite. Okay. Developed. It still says 1957. I want to know when it started. It's basically how long did it take to build Sputnik? Three months.
3 months to build Sputnik.
So wait, launched Sputnik, the first artificial the satellite was launched, a huge rocket and orbited Earth 29 for 3 months. I want to know how long it take to make Sputnik. Sputnik number 2, it took them last launch 957, gross mass, blah blah. Why couldn't they just tell us? How hard is it just to say it took 5 months to build it or whatever?
Is Sputnik Russian for Sput?
See, this is the first Sputnik. Remember, it looks like that ball with the
There used to
arms
be
and stuff.
There used to be a punk band back in the 80s called Zig Zig Sputnik.
Hey, what? Good to see you. Television, great to see you, mate. I just wanted to see how long it took them to build it. I don't want to see when they launched it. Okay, but it doesn't really matter.
Here's your wife again.
Hi Liffy, goed om jou te zien. Lekker man. We got Buzz Old Drinkers in. Good to see you too. Always good to see my wife. So, okay. So yeah, it's really weird. Sputnik. So guys, yeah, 2 years to develop from, if you take this interview, 1955, he was introducing the Saturn V2 rockets to the military. So they didn't really understand the technology yet because he was explaining it to them. So he still had to explain it. Let's see. Let's just say, so I want to see when it was developed. It was they only got the contract in 1966, by the way.
Wow.
That's quite a while after Sputnik.
Mm.
The design. Yeah, when was it conceptualized?
All this rocket talk is making me put together my rocket.
I actually want to go and make a sugar rocket just for the fun of it.
Mm. What kind of rocket is it, Lucian?
One of the Estes.
Yeah, is it like a model that you glue together or something, or is it like something else? It just clicks together.
You glue it together.
Right. Oh, my Android AI just came up. I didn't even say Google. Did I? Go away.
I know Mitchell from Australia had a rocket that he was doing with the sugar and stuff as well. I don't know if he completed it though.
Takes 2D rockets or 2D rocket engines.
Mm.
Got that dual stage like NASA, you know what I'm saying?
Let's see. The rocket will be free man from his remaining chains, the chains of gravity which still tie him to this planet. I will open him to the gates of heaven. Werner von Braun. Okay. The world's first functional
sugar rocket.
Yeah, sugar rocket. Yeah.
Yeah, he says, what is it?
The propellant's made of sugar. It's compacted sugar. It doesn't burn that long, but it burns quickly. So it doesn't go very high though. So yeah, the rocket itself's not made out of sugar, guys. If you were wondering. It's like, okay, so the specifications of the V2. It weighed 13.8 tons, which is a whole ton more than they said in the previous thing. The propellant with ethanol and water mixture and liquid oxygen propellant, which also had a weight of 8.4 lbs. Range 200 miles, peak altitude 55 miles. So that's its peak. It couldn't even get to 60 miles to reach space, but yet they claim it to reach space.
5 mile under.
Yeah. Number of attacks. 1,696 on Belgium, 1,403 on the United Kingdom, 76 on France, 19 on Holland. Weird, none of them were based to attack America, but I don't think it could have reached America from where it was, probably. But
Coventry, where I am, that was bombed badly by Germans. The Germans actually had a saying back in the Second World War that, obviously in their own language, that if something got bombed and it got wrecked, it got Coventry. Do you know what I mean? In their own language. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Blitz, yeah, terrible. Yeah.
The bomb Sheffield.
Yeah, loads of places in England as well. It's Coventry Cathedral was like the big thing. It was bombed and that. The ruins are still there now. They've kind of preserved that. The rest of Coventry has been rebuilt since the Second World War.
okay.
Means of returning them safely to the surface of the Earth. Here we have replaced the top stage of the rocket
The
by
ballistic
a winged
missile part, yeah.
airplane type stage, which
Look at this. You see how huge that rocket is that he put there? Because, I mean, that was the ballistics part. Let's go back quickly. Look at that needle, okay? Look how small that looks there. So, I mean, the rocket wasn't that big. But let's go now to... This is what he wants to... The whole rocket? Yes. That's huge. That is huge.
the top stage of the rocket by a winged airplane type stage which would carry personnel to the orbit. This winged top stage would attain the same orbital conditions as the non-winged version that you saw in the previous slide.
I just got to say something. Doesn't this look a lot like the Virgin, what's that, what they call it? That Virgin Galactic X-Wing? It looks a lot the same, very similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we wonder where they stole the design from. Now we know.
But with the help of these wings, the top stage would be able to return to the Earth. This picture here shows the pattern of the track of ascent of such a three-stage rocket ship. The ship would take off vertically, and soon after takeoff, it is tilted into a slanting flight path.
There we go. I wanted that to come up. Thank you, Physiology, for your $2 super chat. Really, really appreciate it, mate. He says, launch a rocket straight up with no arc. Yikes. Kaboom. Exactly. Thank you very much for the super chat. We got 88 votes, guys. Space is a show. Yes, 100% says 56 is right. No, it doesn't exist. We are all told. What we are told, 22%. And my fate is real in space, 23%. Charlie Walsh says, how different do you want the one rocket to look from the next? We don't care about how it looks. We're just saying why it looks very similar. But now I want...
He's pointy.
Yeah, it's got to be pointy.
Stare into my enemies.
But Charlie Walsh, would you please explain to us why they go up vertically and then they arc, like he's showing here? You know what I mean? What's going on here?
It's like they can't turn.
Yeah, so it's not like they're going into space, are they? They're doing what we're saying happens usually. Going up and arcing down into Point Nemo. Correct? Very easy to go and dump a rocket in the middle of the ocean where no one can actually verify where it is.
So that after the 1 minute or 80 seconds of burning time of the first stage is over, the rocket would fly on an angle
Hey
of
Penny Lane,
approximately
thank you
20
for coming.
degrees against the
And Jim
horizon.
Smith.
At this point, the first stage is dropped and the second stage takes over. At burnout of the second stage, approximately 2 minutes later, the travel of the rocket will be almost horizontal.
Almost
The
horizontal. Yep, Point Nemo is the gray one, exactly. You say almost horizontal. Now, why would they need to fly almost horizontal if they're supposed to be going over, orbiting around the Earth? I think it's very telling.
The second stage, at an altitude of approximately 60 to 80 miles, the rocket has now attained a speed of 12,000 miles per hour, and the third stage now takes over until the final speed of 18,000 miles per hour has been reached. During this powered flight path of the third stage, the rocket would hardly gain any altitude, so that the rocket still is only about 60 miles up at the time cutoff of the last stage is reached. If the third stage would reach exactly circular orbital conditions, defined by the simple condition that the centrifugal force would match the gravitational pull, and therefore the curvature of the orbit would exactly match the curvature of the Earth, the third stage would then stay in a circular orbit 60 miles up.
You see, and that's what they're saying, falling sideways around the Earth. So like he's saying, they would be falling sideways constantly. That's practically like what they're claiming the ISS to be doing.
It's like Stage 1, build a rocket. Stage 3, profit. Well, what's stage 2? Well, stage 3 is profit.
Stage 2 is just make the crap up. Stage 2, yeah, make the crap up.
Jim Smith says they fly almost horizontally because orbits are parallel to horizontal. So not a sphere, no curve then. Congratulations. He doesn't know how that debunks his own globe. Hey Nick Volt, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Oh man.
But if we provide a little more speed for the third stage, we have some excess velocity and excess centrifugal force, which would carry the upper stage, the top stage, even further away from the Earth. The rocket would then go into an elliptic orbit, which after going halfway around the Earth would reach an apogee, whose altitude depends only on the excess velocity over circular orbital speed that we had at the moment of cutoff. We allow the rocket to continue through this elliptical trajectory. It would go back to the perigee, the lowest point, which was identical with the cutoff point of the last stage and would stay in such an elliptic orbit again forever. Now when I say forever, I have to qualify this.
What's he going to qualify when he says forever? What do you guys think he's going to say?
Well, when he says forever, he don't mean forever.
Exactly, that's exactly what I'm thinking. When I say forever, I just have to make clear what forever means. But that's actually how the globe works, where they say something and then it's not really what the definition is, so they have to change it. Like horizontal, they say curves. Level is curved now all of a sudden. So forever is not forever.
Like all the different types of infinity you can get nowadays, infinite numbers and stuff like that. There's like small infinities and big infinities. I mean, infinity is infinity, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God, that Neil deGrasse Tyson talk with Joe Rogan.
Hey Brianna, good to see you. Lumpy, he says, I'm DMing both of you what you want to use 3D software to show the audience. Yeah, that would be great. Quickly DM me the stuff, Lumpy, that I can quickly see. Maybe we can put it on while we're busy watching this. Yeah, you were saying, Lotion? Hey Timothy, good to see you, mate.
Every time the rocket would go through the perigee, only 60 miles up, it would be retarded slightly by the aerodynamic drag caused by the traces of the atmosphere that are still found at that altitude. So every time it would go through the perigee, it would lose a little bit of that excess speed, and as a result, the next apogee would be somewhat lower. And this gradual loss in excess speed would gradually lead to a conversion of the elliptic orbit into a circular orbit 60 miles up. And after this has been accomplished, the missile would, the ship would be...
The missile. The missile, yeah. The missile. Hey M Stone, good to see you, mate. Thank you for coming. Remember, guys, they were trying to base a ship with people on a rocket that was meant to destroy things.
Yeah.
Yeah, really odd stuff. I mean, if someone had to come with you and say, especially a war criminal or was a Nazi, and comes to you and say, hey, I got an idea. I want to put you guys on a rocket that I used to to kill people. Are you going to be happy to take that?
Yeah, I'm going to be the first to put my hand. I'll do it. I'll put you right. Oh, goodness.
Hey, Terry Yakum, thank you for coming. He says, lying Karen cowards plus everyone else recently messaged, update, shared, and explained to and with regarding everything and everyone to my friends. That's a working title, Tim. What? Okay. That doesn't make sense. Not coherent, but okay.
Subjected to atmospheric drag throughout the entire flight around the Earth, and from then on, of course, it would lose speed rather rapidly. But with the help of the wings, it would be able to land again. If it had no wings, it would descend into the deeper atmosphere, ultimately burn up and crash.
If you had no wings. So they had to have wings. But what do we get from the globies today? No, that altitude, you don't have any air. Is this what you want me to show? By Brian Leake, I think. Lumpy? Isn't it the program you wanted to send me? Or you want me to... Well, while we're waiting for Lumpy to answer that.
During the ascent of such a three-stage rocket ship, the crew will be subjected to high acceleration. Of course, initially, as the ship takes off, the ship is still heavy, and the acceleration will not be too high. But as it loses weight due to fuel consumption, and with the thrust remaining constant, this acceleration will gradually increase. And the first peak in the acceleration curve will be reached at the moment of cutoff of the first stage. Since all the powerful motors, the first stage, keep pushing the ship, and the first stage.
Okay, he wants me to quickly show this. So let's quickly watch this.
Men, but they can't understand what line of sight triangles mean.
No, they don't.
Okay.
That's for sure.
But yeah, I literally had to demonstrate a triangle in reality. The ground underneath doesn't care with line of sight. 3 points in free space are coplanar. Then they make a 180-degree triangle. I can raise the string on one of them sticks and lower it on another. Just change the orientation of the triangle. I repeat, 3 points in free space represent a coplanar point. No matter how you twist the plane, no matter how you turn it. So with line of sight from each station, I'm only going to I'm going to measure the angle to the other two stations. Unless I tell it I've changed orientation, then it's going to give me 180 degrees unless I invoke excess. So here I've raised the string on one station and lowered it all the way down to the bottom at another one. I still have...
Exactly, Brian. Remember,
Yeah.
this is with the triangulation when we had Andrew coming on, and he's like saying it's line of sight, so it's not on the surface. So therefore, it's not spherical axis. Lumpy says, look at the zeniths. They are not 90. Yeah, exactly, not 90. They have different zeniths on here. But
That's a good little diagram of it. That's a good little way of showing it, to be honest.
yeah, but like even Lumpy is saying, but these sticks are not sitting 90 degrees though, because there's not actually, you can't actually have a 90 degree on how they're trying to depict it.
The entire operation don't work on the sphere. It's pointless arguing with these idiots.
Mm-hmm. Hi Anrama, good to see you, mate. Thank you for coming. Lumpy, would you like to come in quickly to actually try and explain what you want to talk about this on?
3 coplanar points. And
Yeah?
I thought we were watching.
Yeah, we are, but we just wanted to talk about these what's them quickly, because I mean this can also work for their curve, won't work for their orbiting. Okay, so let's go and watch the video finished.
Tanks, which constitute approximately 75% of the total ship's weight, are almost empty. The acceleration peak at this point will be approximately 9g. It can be kept lower if desired, but only at the expense of a slightly higher fuel consumption. After this first peak, the acceleration will go down to about 1.5g again, when the smaller motors, the second stage, take over, and of course the second stage tanks are still full. The second peak will then be reached at cutoff of the second stage, again approximately 9g. And finally another third peak of the acceleration curve will be reached at cutoff of the third stage, but it won't be quite that high because the third stage carries the payload and in addition If it's an Earth returnable winged upper stage, the propellants required for the return flight.
Yeah, and because it's a much smaller, the third stage will be much smaller compared to the rest, so it's going to take less fuel, it's got the payload, it's got the people, everything, so obviously. So it makes sense that it wouldn't have everything, you know, as much oomph, as you could say, as the rest. But I mean, who was it that worked out of the Saturn V rockets that they wouldn't have enough energy to actually get the things in orbit, get the rockets in orbit like they wanted to? I think it was some people even on Apollo detectors worked it out. Their Saturn V rockets were just not strong enough because of the gigantic size and heavier they are. It wouldn't give the desired velocity that they would need to get the terminal velocity to get out to orbit. I think that's what it said.
One of the most important tasks in preparing a crew for such rocket ships would be to make this crew work as a team under these harsh acceleration conditions. The tool to train teams for this condition is the centrifuge. Our centrifuges, like the one you see on this picture here, are in use in the armed forces to check people for their blackout limits. By adopting the same principle and just making the nacelle at the tip of that centrifuge larger, we can place an entire crew into the nacelle and train them as a team. This is shown here on the next picture. We have an entire replica of the passenger nacelle attached.
Hey, NK Volt, Nick Volt, yeah, I didn't say it was true, I'm just saying that's how they worked it out apparently. Like I said, apparently. Which I find very interesting, that's all I'm saying. But back to this G-forces. Have you guys seen when they go and train with this G-force training? How they black out, usually around about 6 G-forces. Then they look like they're disfigured and blacking out. But then how much G-forces do they have when they're going to so-called orbit, to space?
Can you put the link to Discord in? Spud's asking.
I did put it in.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the Discord. What, does he want the Discord link in?
Yeah, that's what he's asked for. Link to Discord, please.
Okay. Copy. Paste. There we go. But he's already in my Discord, so I don't understand.
I was going to say, what do you want to describe first, bud?
I'm really confused.
If you want to come and talk, he's an element.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan was asking.
Oh, Ryan. Well, there we go. I think after this video, I'll open the Discord chat and we can all have a chat if you guys want to a bit.
I won't be able to.
I can't really go on much longer though. Maybe another hour. That's the problem.
To the boom of the centrifuge, we can not only whirl it around and expose the men to acceleration, we can even rotate the nacelle as it swings around to simulate erratic flight conditions under which the crew must likewise.
Did I hear a whoop?
Yeah,
whoop.
Hey, Lumpy. How's it going, mate?
Hey guys,
How's it going?
I can hear you.
So, what do you want to explain about that video with Brian?
Just real quick, and then how the direct ups were making the angle beyond 90. So, and then that could be shown in given actual values if we had that 3D software, if we made a sphere and then try to make points in the sky that you'd be observing from a location on the surface of the sphere, and then you'd have to roll the sphere back to get the direct up from that location. Couldn't possibly be a 90 on a sphere, but it would show that you have to roll the ball to get, or you do it on a basketball, or just like the guy did. How the direct ups like angling away from each other, and therefore you couldn't triangulate.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the direct line of sight argument he has is valid. I'm not saying it's not, but it's the angles.
Yeah, it's the angles he
You don't
placed
have
those
access.
things, yeah. Yeah, it's the angles he put there what does the problem. But yeah,
you
but I think he was just trying to make a point of, because we can see it line of sight, it's not worrying about the surface, as they say, because they lifted it up. And that's why it's measured as an internal angle, triangle.
well, that might be what his point was. What I gathered from it was, I think it was plungers or something he had stuck to it, and how them angles make it obtuse instead of a 90 on a sphere. And they will always have to, because it has to be directly over, say like noon for the sun on Earth.
Okay.
Except for not on a ball. It can be a 90 in that case. However, the fact that as the light goes further away from you, you have to roll the Earth back to get it directly, if it was a ball, to get it directly above from where you're observing from. You'd have to make it up back. You would be rolling backwards on the ball. You'd be at a different spot in measurement. You could put both minus direct up from the point of measurement, and then the direct up on the spot where the ground position for the star would be. You know?
Yeah.
And having a sextant almanac would even be better, because then we would have the ground position, so we could make a sphere on that CAD, and then we could put the direct ups from the observation point and the 3 reference points, for example, and we could like draw, a rough map of what the continents and countries would look like, and then we could know where the star is supposed to be, the ground position for the star is, and roll it back and show how many degrees off they are and how bad the math would be. We could do, set up the red angle trig formula so we could get our legs in the angle. I'm not saying the direct up to the height of the star, that's unknowable, but trying to access the math and to come up with the correct answer for the angle when you have an obtuse angle would show how non sequitur it is that their argument is. It would really be good evidence, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
Yeah, but we can try it out, draw it on AutoCAD, like I said, it'll be interesting.
All right, I just wanted you to see the showing how the angles would be off, and also the audience.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I thought it would be an example as to what I've been meaning about the zenith divergence. I figured you knew, but I saw, that's what I saw immediately. Is these
you saw it, definitely it sits arced away. That's why they said spherical axis, because the zeniths are paralleled away. That's what zenith zenith representative, I can't pronounce it. RGZ, I'm just going to say RGZ angles are for.
I think it was saying like they said 3 points on the sphere connected is like a spherical triangle, but they claim that they're doing the horizontals not on the ground, it's line of sight.
Okay, well then your baseline's not valid if that's the argument. Like if the strings were what mattered, then you don't have a flat baseline, right?
Yeah, but I mean that doesn't matter now.
But that doesn't matter. Not from where the measurement.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter with the stream we're having now, though, because we're talking about Werner von Braun. So.
Okay. Yeah. I just thought it was a good example, especially with handles.
Yeah. But sharp. No, but we definitely do an AutoCAD stream with it. I think it'll be interesting.
I think it would be pretty epic, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear what the heck they come up with for an argument to it. They would be tripping.
They wouldn't have.
They already are. But when they have a visual, of it, that you could point to and say, "Look, this is what we did. It's wrong. How do you justify it?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'd be like the pin move that like in pro wrestling or whatever. Not that any of this is fake, but you know, it's the one move that they never get out of or some type of thing. We already got them, you know, but they wiggle, you know, like the ref gets knocked out. I don't even know what their perspective is. Man, they'll come up with something dumb. But the retardation they come up with will also be evidence, in my opinion. For down the line, you know, when this opens up and more people get it, it'll be another big win, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I can't predict the future. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, but thank you for coming. Yeah. Thanks for explaining it.
Yeah.
Because now it makes more sense.
Yeah, the handles are the part that I see immediately is the geometry breaks at that point. But the access to the mathematical function, for the purpose of the word they apply to the practice, which would be triangulation. It's broken when you have them zeniths diverging. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, because I use sine plates all the time, for example, to grind angles, let's say, precision angles. You want to have a piece of bent metal at a certain angle, and you want to keep that angle precise, so the metal doesn't crash or anything, and you got to be right. Well, I do this for a living, basically. That's what I do for a living, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I understand the base. I mean, like, your protractor needs a flat bottom, not a curving bottom, you know? It's that simple, basically. But, all right, guys, I'm going to hop off.
The Shotman, thanks for coming. So hi.
Hey, thanks for inviting me in. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Lumpy. Always appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Hey, Black Circle, good to see you, mate. And then I saw Secret Asian Man. Shalom to you too. I'm glad you could make it. Thank you for coming. Brianna Johnson. Bye, chat. Time to get drunk. Have a good stream. Thank you for coming, Brianna. Bye. Okay, let's carry on with the G-forces.
Take the necessary emergency measures. Let us take a look at the inside of this replica of the crew compartment during a centrifuge test. Here you see the men sitting one behind the other, exposed to the 8 or 9 G acceleration, and supposed to take the necessary emergency measures after an outside operator has portrayed a certain emergency situation on their dashboard panels. High accelerations are only one part of the problem to which the crew is subjected.
That's one thing I want to ask. I mean, you were saying they're going between like 8 and 9 G, but the people usually like black out between 6 G, 5 and 6 G, correct?
Yeah.
Do you guys see the astronauts ever black out when they're doing these so-called space missions?
No.
They look quite comfortable, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it. If you look at, let's take Jeff Bezos with his flying dildo, and the people are in there. I mean, these aren't trained astronauts. They don't look like they're gonna pass out because of the G-forces or anything. Or how about when they show even SpaceX, they show the astronauts going up. They look all comfortable. They don't look like they're going to pass out. So that doesn't make sense.
No. It's always inconsistencies in those stories.
Yeah, and guys, G-forces doesn't mean gravity, okay? It's simply just inertia. Your body wants to go forward, and all your fluids in your body is being sloshed to the back. That's it. It's nothing got to do with gravity. Anytime, Lumpy. I'm glad to have you in, mate.
Weightlessness, the opposite of high acceleration, is another. What causes weightlessness, and when does it occur in rocket ships? You often hear that weightlessness is encountered only after a ship has left the gravitational field of the Earth. This is not true. Weightlessness in a rocket ship actually occurs the moment the engines are cut off and the ship is coasting freely and outside of the atmosphere through any trajectory.
Yep, that's what's based on the Vomit Comet. It's free falling, so just like the Vomit Comet where it's taking the trajectory fall, you inside that closed compartment it's accelerating at the same rate as you, so your reference is closed, you don't see anything, you are falling, but you don't really notice it because you are falling with the surrounding reference frame. That's it. Nick Volt says, because the g-force is much less than 8. He just said 8 to 9 Gs. Nick Volt, that's what he said. Let's actually look what they say the g-forces should be. Because I remember they said it was quite high. That's how I always taught. What do they get during an astronaut? Around 9 Gs. And around 9 Gs, most humans black out the struggle. Astronauts normally experience a maximum G-force around 3 Gs. That's bullshit. You're telling me they're only experiencing 3 Gs? Is that so?
Can't just the G, surely.
If you're accelerating to 17,000 miles an hour, you are not only going to be having 3 Gs pushing back on you. I mean, you have that about on a flippin' car in a drag race. Do they know that? I mean, I've experienced 2 Gs of force going lateral around a bend on a racetrack. Now you're telling me that they only experience 3 Gs with all that power. That's it. I'm sorry, that's rubbish. I'm going to just call bullshit on that right now. And especially what Werner von Braun says, they're going to be experiencing 8 to 9 Gs. So guys, you don't even need to train to be an astronaut. You can just race some cars, do some drag racing. You experience more Gs than these guys. It's not personal incredulity alert, Johnson. Andrew, it's just simple. Yeah, a drag race. You experience about 3 Gs in a drag race.
Thing is, right, they don't go to space. Do you know what I mean? They don't.
No, they don't.
They just do an act, land back in sea. So who's to know what exact Gs are reaching? It's just what bullshit they feed us.
Yeah, but like I said, but why would Werner von Braun say they used between 8 and 9 Gs? And that's what I was taught actually before was a flat earther. I also believed that it was something like 9 to 10 Gs. Now they're saying it's only 3 Gs.
Because they realise that man can't take that.
Yeah.
So they've had, you know.
I mean, a lot of the people they say is like around 9 Gs, most humans black out. I mean, you can see those video footage with 5 to 6 Gs, they're literally deformed and they black out. Exactly, Rachie. I experienced 4.3 Gs on a roller coaster. Yeah, I know how long the drag race lasts, Andrew. That's not the point. The point is they can't make up the point, how much Gs they're exerting when going up into space.
Then 3 Gs is falling out of bed, man.
It's crazy. They keep
Or
on changing this.
What causes weightlessness? Weight, as we know it, is actually the cause not only of gravity, but also of the floor on which we stand and which prevents us from freely following the pull of gravity.
Okay, I gotta say this quickly. Hey Quinlan, thank you for coming. Who was it? Yeah, Quinlan says acceleration is speed over time. 2g means 20 meters per second square, which is 6 feet per second square. Exactly. So, how fast are the astronauts going again? For how long? It's crazy. It's the point, the duration of the g-forces. How long does it take for a rocket to reach space with all those g-forces, Andrew? There's a reason why you actually have to be fit to be a race car driver. It takes a lot on your body. Just like the astronauts, it's supposed to take a lot on their body, but they're sitting there having a picnic going up into space. Come on.
There's barely any astronauts look fit enough to get to space anyway.
Hi, Media Don. Good to see you, mate. Gary Rabenga, always good to see you. I'm sorry, there's a lot of things that don't add up.
In other words, it always takes gravity and a rigid support to create the sensation of weight. As you withdraw that support and permit a body to freely follow the pull of gravity, that body is weightless. If you jump from a diving board into the water, you are weightless for a second or so until you hit the water. And if you are flying in a rocket ship that is not powered, your body is subjected to the same laws of motion that the ship.
Lotion's causing havoc, mate.
Sorry?
Lotion's causing havoc.
Motion?
Lotion.
You've got two again.
There's two of me. That's awesome. I could really use that other person.
Yeah, but the other person's making a lot of noise.
Nick, I would love to have you on, but just not tonight, mate, because I'm only going to be like 20 minutes more, and then I'm probably going to have to end the stream. So I know if you're going to come on, we're probably going to debate another hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. Sorry, mate. Maybe Wednesday. Maybe Wednesday you can come on. How's that?
As a result, there can be no differential forces between you and the ship, and you will float freely within the cabin of the ship. Now, can we simulate weightless conditions on the ground? It is very difficult, because usually any weightless condition is always terminated by an impact, because it builds up speed if we do it in the gravitational field of the Earth. But there's one possibility of simulating it. If you look at this chart, you will see down here in the left lower corner the trajectory of an airplane that comes down and then
explaining the parabolic flights for the vomit comet.
Did he just say it's really hard to simulate it?
No, he says he can't simulate it. He's trying to explain it with the vomit comet. Raichi, Eric Lattevolte or whatever, he's that guy that talks about magnetic rivers, correct? Really awesome stuff.
Left, right.
Yeah, Lathwaite or whatever how you pronounce it. But yeah, can we say that von Braun was the creator of the vomit comet too, because he's kind of pitching it to the American army.
Yeah, he's implying it, isn't he?
Yeah. Why would he need to? But that's one thing. Why would he have to pitch like the mechanics behind the vomit comet when he's just trying to get people into space? There's a reason for that.
Tactics.
Yeah, but there's a reason for that, because they need it to keep that alive, because a lot of the time their shots are done on the vomit comets, you know, for their zero G.
If you Google rocket launchers, all you see is parabolic flights.
Exactly.
incline dives and pulls out of the dive and goes through a ballistic trajectory. This ballistic trajectory is essentially a parabola wherein the aerodynamic drag is just compensated by the thrust of the jet engine of the plane. If you can steer the plane through this ballistic trajectory at zero lift so that you have no lift forces, and at the same time keep it on a proper course and just compensate the drag with your engine, you go through such a parabola. Of course,
you know what I find amazing? How much times have I invited this Nick Volt to come chat on the show?
And now he can come on when you're about to finish.
Yeah, when I say I'm about to finish, now he wants to come explain 9th grade math.
We're not interested in math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Again,
don't want to listen to some clown telling me maths is reality.
No. And
Right in the super chat, dude.
yeah, and Nick, like I said, you can come Wednesday to discuss if you really want to, mate. But definitely not tonight. I've got like 15 minutes left. So let's get through this video, but please, thanks.
on the descending leg of the parabola, the plane will pick up speed again, and sooner or later you have to pull the plane out of the parabola again. But during that period, which in a modern jet fighter can be extended for approximately 40 seconds, you can simulate a weightless condition. You would do the same thing with an advanced rocket plane, such as these modern rocket research planes. It appears possible to extend this condition to approximately 3 minutes. Under this flight condition, through the ballistic trajectory, you have weightlessness. Such a long 3-minute weightless.
No, debatable D. He said we're not interested in your belief of math. In other words, you guys just reify the math as reality. That's what we're not interested in. Not we're not interested in math. We're just not interested that you come with your religious belief that the math, therefore it's real. Yeah.
Ballistic parabola is shown in the upper part of this picture. The next slide shows what happens inside an airplane flown through such a ballistic trajectory. You see a little matchbox floating in the left upper corner of the canopy. This matchbox was released by the passenger in this flight and was photographed by him to show that the matchbox is actually floating freely in the canopy, and it floated there for approximately 40 seconds. In fact, pilots who have repeatedly...
So they get 40 seconds of about flight time. I always said about 20, remember? So I was being very, very harsh on them. So they could do 40-second stints.
Well, I always thought about 25 seconds or
Yeah.
something, yeah.
So 40-second stints, 40 seconds is more than enough time to take between shots.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. Math is not a belief. Yeah, math is definitely a belief if you're going to reify it into reality. Then it's a belief. Because math is just descriptive. The problem is when you take that math equation and you say, oh, look, I believe it to work, so therefore it's reality. Circular reasoning, you're just affirming the consequent, with your belief in math. Math is not reality, guys. Hey, Slip Radar, good to see you. Unfortunately, coming when we're about to close.
Flown to such ballistic trajectories even use such free-floating objects to make sure that they are right under the weightless condition. If they apply a positive or a negative lift, the matchbox will come up and down. And if there's too little or too much thrust, so that they either under or overcompensate the aerodynamic drag, the matchbox will move fore or aft. This condition, which as I said can be simulated for 40 seconds now and for maybe 3 minutes with advanced rocket airplanes, will be a permanent experience in any orbiting rocket ship. What will happen when man is subjected to this condition? Well, we know that a man can eat and drink even in a horizontal position, and if you try it, you find that you can even eat upside down. Will the blood circulation be affected? Medical doctors think that they will not, because the most important factor in the blood circulation is the drag, the resistance of the blood in the veins and the arteries. And gravity plays only a minor part in it.
So they're trying to say you can hang upside down and the blood's not going to rush to your face. Weird thing is that when we see, how much times have we seen the astronauts hang upside down on the so-called ISS and stuff, and you see the blood, the veins literally popping up.
The face shape's all distorted and everything, it's all puffed out, and yeah, you can tell.
Yeah, so either they're not where they say they are, or it's not that what he's saying it is going. So it's
you can't eat upside down, but it's not bloody comfortable, is it?
it goes against everything. Just because you're falling doesn't change the density.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy.
Well, in fact, you can lie horizontally in your bed and you can get up and your heart circulation is hardly affected. But nobody knows today how extended weightlessness will...
I just have to say, look at their faces. This guy's like falling asleep. These guys are looking at him like he's crazy. That's insane. Oh, wow.
Probably sat there because a lot of them are military men, so they're no artillery and stuff like that. They probably sat thinking, What's this globe is talking about going around?
To affect people. Some doctors believe the most critical question will be the sense of equilibrium in the inner ear. There's a little pebble in the inner ear, both inner ears, called the otolite, which rests on some hairs, and on whichever hairs they rest is an indication this is down. If you move your head forward, that pebble moves on another set of hairs, and you have a different indication of the plumb bob direction.
Yeah, it's the same as where, let's say you're off balance. If you get too much, that's why sometimes when people have earache or they have ear infections, they're off balance. Exactly, because the density is off there. It's that those hair follicles are not lying like it should be. It's not because of gravity. It's because of balance due to density. Again, gravity is not a force, guys. Just because you call acceleration gravity doesn't make it real. It's just giving it a name. We can call the same thing unicorn farts. Does that make now acceleration unicorn farts? No.
I'm starting to get sick of hearing all space talk and chat and all. I mean, I've come out of heliocentrism. I don't want to hear people trying to re-push that bullshit that I've realised isn't real.
Yeah, but
I like what you said there, Michael. There is no space, Dumbo.
but I mean,
Go back to your ball earth channels and talk about it.
yeah, but I mean that's the thing, Michael. I'll try and explain to these guys. They so love to come in and say, "Oh, we don't care what you guys are saying. It's so stupid." But all they do is coming and trying to push their religion onto us. That's all they do.
Right.
Okay, guys. So I'm going to end now
Yeah.
because we can carry on this another time because I see it's only like halfway or whatever, and I'm enjoying this.
Yeah. Good. It's a good little film.
I think we can do
Andrew
something.
Johnston, what have I told you about mourning?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
See, you give these people an inch flat size and they take a mile, mate.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to say thank you all for coming. Really appreciate it. I'll see you guys then on Wednesday.
Absolutely.
Because yeah, tomorrow's my off night. So yeah, tomorrow I'll be just chilling a bit with the family, visiting with my wife a bit, you know. That's about it. And then Wednesday night I'll see you guys again. I'm still waiting to hear back from Kunz to hear if I'm going to be debating Mark Reed on Saturday at 6 o'clock Central African time, so on modern day debate. So that would be great if they do come back to me about that. That would be great.
Cool.
Yeah, I have to say, Bennett's gold, yeah, von Braun's stone, cornerstone headstone did say Psalms 19 verse 1, and God show us his handiwork. Exactly, the heavens showed his handiwork.
Sasha also said that making a part 2 would be cool, so yeah.
Exactly.
That's good, isn't
So yeah, guys, I'm going to say bye. You guys are awesome. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Many blessings. I thank you very much for all the super chats, all the likes and shares, and just for coming. You guys all rock. Thank you for an awesome show. Blessings, and may the pressure be with you.